White House walkout. Top Democrats leave a tense meeting with the president over Syria.
Go ahead,
What we witnessed on the part of the president was a meltdown.
After House Republicans and Democrats pass a broad rebuke of Trump's retreat. Even the president's closest allies join the criticism as Vice President Pence arrives in Turkey this morning to try and broker a ceasefire.
Impeachment showdown. The U.S. diplomat at the center of those text messages set to testify, expected to say President Trump told him to say there was no quid pro quo. And a key figure in the impeachment inquiry and a renowned civil rights leader, Representative Elijah Cummings, passing away overnight.
Bomb cyclone. The deadly nor'easter on the move, pummeling the East Coast, with winds whipping up to 90 miles per hour. Towns underwater, more than 250,000 people without power this morning. Ginger is tracking the latest on the powerful storm.
Megyn Kelly back on TV, making her first appearance since leaving NBC. Why she's calling for an independent investigation of how her former network handled the sexual assault allegations against Matt Lauer.
Vaping crisis, the stunning new testimony. Teens are waking up in the middle of the night to vape.
Our adolescents simply don't have a chance.
As the death toll from the epidemic rises and a family that believes their son died from e-cigarette addiction files a lawsuit against Juul.
Last second save. The heart-stopping rescue caught on camera. A trooper pulling an unconscious driver from his SUV seconds before the train slams into it. What the hero is saying this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Wow, when you see that video, that driver is lucky to be alive. It is a very busy morning.
Very busy morning. We're gonna see the video, talk to the police officer who was the hero in that. But before we get to that, we're gonna have the latest on that powerful storm that's working its way up the Northeast, bringing strong winds and causing dangerous conditions on the roadways.
Ginger's going to have that, but we begin with the crisis surrounding President Trump and Syria. With Republicans joining Democrats to condemn the president's policy, Trump lashed out in a tense White House meeting that descended into name-calling, prompting a walkout from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who called the president's performance a meltdown. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran starts us off from the White House. And Terry, it was President Trump's 1,000th day in office, and it was a head-spinner.
It surely was, George. It is a rare moment of bipartisanship in Washington, as you point out. Strong majorities in both parties expressing outrage and dismay over the president's decision to abandon America's Kurdish allies in northern Syria and stand by while Turkey invades and rampages through their enclave. This pits the president against not just Democrats, but some of his closest Republican allies as the bitter clash is escalating.
What we witnessed on the part of the president was a meltdown. Sad to say.
He was insulting, particularly to the speaker. She kept her cool completely, but he called her a third-rate politician.
Overnight, after Democratic leaders criticized President Trump's behavior during a White House closed-door meeting on Syria, the president tweeted out these photos, sitting with stone-faced Democrats and asking, "Do you think they like me?" and labeling this one of Speaker Pelosi pointing at him across the table, "Nervous Nancy's unhinged meltdown." Speaker Pelosi seeing it differently, responding by making that picture her background on Twitter. All this comes after another contentious day for the president.
The yeas are 354, the nays are 60.
Both parties in the House voting overwhelmingly to condemn his decision to pull American troops from northern Syria.
I asked the president what his plan was to contain ISIS. He didn't really have one. He said the Turks and the Syrians will guard the ISIS prisoners.
Democratic sources claim Trump downplayed his former defense secretary James Mattis's recent warnings about ISIS, saying Trump, who once called the decorated combat vet a true general's general, was now labeling Mattis the world's most overrated general, saying he wasn't tough enough. I captured ISIS. But the president's handling of Syria continues to draw sharp criticism from some of his closest allies.
This is a defining moment of Trump's presidency. If we abandon the Kurds, it will be to our shame and to our national security detriment, and Trump will own the reemergence of ISIS.
Trump firing back.
Lindsey Graham would like to stay in the Middle East for the next 1,000 years with thousands of soldiers and fighting other people's wars.
And further distancing himself from the Kurds, key U.S. allies who lost thousands in the fight against ISIS.
Nobody wants to say it. We're making the Kurds look like they're angels. We paid a lot of money to the Kurds, tremendous amounts of money.
The White House also released a letter the president wrote to Turkey's President Erdogan on October 9th, which was sent after Trump informed him he was moving troops out of the region. The president writing, "You don't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands of people, and don't be a tough guy, don't be a fool." One congressman tweeting an image of the letter and writing, "This is insane."
Well, that letter didn't seem to have much impact. BBC is reporting that President Erdogan, quote, thoroughly rejected President Trump's letter and tossed it in the trash. George?
What a day. Tamarin, thanks very much.
And George, we're going to have more now on the growing crisis in Syria. Vice President Mike Pence arriving in Turkey moments ago to meet with that country's leader. Our foreign correspondent, James Longman, is in the region for us this morning. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Robin. International condemnation for Turkey's assault is growing, but their attack shows no sign of slowing down, even as you say, Vice President Pence and Secretary Pompeo have just arrived in Turkey in an effort to broker a ceasefire. But the prospects of that are highly unlikely. President Erdogan argues that the Kurds represent a terrorist threat, and he's refused to negotiate. His forces have been lined up along that border for months. Everyone in this region knows what would come if the US withdrew. And this morning, Turkish artillery bombardment of strategically important Ras Al Ain continues, NATO's second largest army finding it increasingly difficult to root out battle-hardened Kurds. US adversaries are very much taking advantage of the chaos. This is Kobane, a town liberated from ISIS by US and Kurdish forces, and now the world watches as Syrian and Russian tanks roll in. Dozens of civilians are dead, and at this stage the UN says at least 160,000 people have fled their homes. Michael.
Okay, thank you, James. I'm going to take it from here. I want to bring in our senior congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce, for more on this. Mary, we saw that broad bipartisan condemnation of the president's policy in the House. The question now, what will happen in the Senate?
Yeah, and George, this morning, it is not clear when or even if Republicans in the Senate will take this up, even though Republican leader Mitch McConnell has been incredibly critical of the president's move here. We saw that vote yesterday, an extremely harsh rebuke for the president. Republicans up here have been incredibly hesitant to break with the president, to criticize him at all, and yet here you had 2/3 of them, even all of leadership, siding with the Democrats. Even if this was a symbolic move, George, we know it clearly did not go over well with the president.
Not at all. Meantime, on impeachment, Senator McConnell is preparing his Senate troops for an impeachment trial.
Yeah, George, he is making clear he wants this to be a speedy process, one that could possibly even wrap up before the end of the year. Now, yesterday, we've learned that Leader McConnell gave his members what's being described to us as a civics lesson on this process, including a PowerPoint presentation. He told his members to be prepared to convene 6 days a week. George, he does not want this process to drag on.
Does not. Of course, a lot of that depends on the House. They continue their impeachment hearings today, and the key witness today, a handpicked ambassador by President Trump, who may not be entirely helpful in his testimony.
Yeah, George, this is the U.S. ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland. He is a critical player in all of this. He's a Trump mega donor turned diplomat who worked behind the scenes to push Ukraine to investigate the president's rivals, even though Ukraine isn't even a country in the EU. Now, we know that another top official who testified here told investigators that she was concerned that Sondland could be a potential national security risk because he was so unprepared for the job. And today, Sondland is likely to be pressed about whether or not military aid was withheld to Ukraine as a condition that they investigate the president's rivals, including Joe Biden. Sondland sent a text message insisting there was no quid pro quo, which the president has cited in his defense. But that message was reportedly dictated to Sondland by the president himself, and he simply does not know if Trump was telling the truth or not, George.
The witnesses are piling up fast. Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. And a key figure in that impeachment inquiry in renowned civil rights leader, Representative Elijah Cummings, passing away overnight. Tom Yamas is here with more on the Democratic leader. Good morning, Tom.
Michael, good morning to you. This news stunning so many. Baltimore has lost its biggest fighter, and the country has lost one of its most dedicated public servants. Congressman Elijah Cummings dying from long-standing health complications. He went from being a sharecropper's son to one of the most powerful members of Congress.
And this time, all of our votes will be counted.
He fought for Baltimore and for civil rights. Representative Elijah Cummings served in Congress since 1996.
People are suffering and even dying, even as we debate today. That's a serious crime.
becoming a national figure, serving as the chairman of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, a key force in investigating the Trump administration.
The one meeting I had with President Trump, I said to him, the greatest gift that you and I, Mr. President, can give to our children is making sure that we give them a democracy that is intact.
Cummings and the president clashed repeatedly, including this summer when President Trump tweeted Baltimore was rat and rodent infested. Cummings defending his city and calling out language he called racist being used by national leaders. He also took on the White House when President Trump attacked 4 freshman women of color, tweeting they should go back to the countries he said they're from.
When the president does these things, it brings up the same feelings that I had over 50-some years ago. And it's very, very painful. It's extremely divisive. And I just don't think that this is becoming of the President of the United States of America, the leader of the entire world.
The powerful Democrat known for his thunderous voice and fearlessness. He was 68.
And he had yet to return to work after undergoing a medical procedure in September that he said would only keep him away from the office for a week or so. Congressman Cummings will be mourned there in Baltimore and really all over the country. Guys.
Incredible man.
Yeah, and you pointed out, Tom, he devoted his life to public service, starting out as a teen on the front lines of that civil rights struggle in Baltimore. What a life.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to us, Tom. We're going to turn now to that powerful nor'easter that is slamming the East Coast. 250,000 people are without power this morning. Let's go to Whit Johnson, who's in Massachusetts for us this morning. Good morning, Whit.
Robin, good morning to you. This is exactly what officials were warning about, those violent wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour in some places. And take a look at the results here. Not one, but 2 trees coming down in front of this home. One slamming through the car, busting through the glass. And take a look at this. This one splintering and crashing right through the roof of that home. A woman was inside at the time. Firefighters tell us she's okay, but this home is uninhabitable. Scenes like this playing out throughout the region as hundreds of thousands wake up this morning without power. Overnight, the driving rain and pounding winds hammering the New England coast. The same deadly nor'easter that wreaked havoc from Virginia to New York, now moving north.
Hey, it's been crazy. I need like a boat out here, like Noah's Ark.
Parts of New London, Connecticut, underwater. The floods inundating these cars and buildings. Fire officials confirming multiple rescues in the area, including one person from their basement apartment. In Rhode Island, the waves crashing over the seawall. Hurricane-force wind gusts in the Massachusetts area, up to 90 miles per hour on the Cape. Near Cape Cod, this massive tree uprooted. Hundreds of thousands without power. Dangerous driving conditions. 11 passengers inside this van that flipped over outside Philadelphia.
Got one possible DOA ejected, multiple people still inside the van.
Several trapped inside. 3 killed and 8 others sent to the hospital.
1 trapped in the vehicle, 2 possible DOAs. Give me an EMS task force.
Crews tell us they've been working around the clock, clearing down trees, debris, and power lines. A number of schools in the area are closed. Driving is still dangerous, and if you're flying, make sure you check with the airlines ahead of time. Dozens of flights have already been canceled. Robin?
Want everybody to take the necessary precautions. All right, Whit, thank you. As you know, Ginger tracking the storm for us as well. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, Robin. And I don't have to tell anybody in here because very few people slept well last night because of those winds, snapping trees, and of course all that heavy rain, which, by the way, more than 5 inches reported north of Albany. But look at this map. It is not over. We've got all day today to deal with the winds from this storm. As far south as western North Carolina, you'll find wind advisories, Delaware through New Jersey, up to, say, Rhode Island, and certainly Massachusetts and Maine. But it's not just the coast. This is what I want you to remember. As you go through the day today, this storm has now moved a little to the northwest of Boston. That's where it's centered. You're going to see gusts, say, in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, over to Rochester, New York, Scranton, Pennsylvania, in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. So, Michael, it's not done, and it's not just at the coast.
All right, Jenny, we'll keep our eye on that. And now we're going to turn to the teachers who are on strike this morning in one of the largest school districts in the country. Hundreds of thousands of Chicago students are home as their teachers walk the picket line demanding better pay and smaller classes. Alex Perez joins us now from Chicago. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Michael. The strike officially began at midnight. Classes had been preemptively canceled today. Some 25,000 teachers will be headed to the picket lines. Now, a lot of these teachers have been protesting for weeks. Both sides seem to have agreed on salaries, but some of the main sticking points right now involve classroom size and the number of support staff available to the teachers. So this strike means no school for some 300,000 students in the school system. Now, school buildings will be open and serving meals for those students who have nowhere to go. Contract negotiations are ongoing. George?
We hope they can come to an agreement quickly for those kids. We're going to turn now to America's vaping crisis. 2 new deaths in Minnesota bring the nationwide total to 31 deaths across 22 states. And a top pediatrician is telling Congress that our young people, quote, don't stand a chance against e-cigarette products. Janae Norman here with that story. Good morning, Janae.
George, good morning. We're continuing to see these numbers grow. 31 deaths, nearly 1,300 vaping-related lung illnesses, according to the CDC. One expert telling Congress e-cigarettes have led to behavior she has never seen before, describing patients with what she calls intense nicotine addiction.
Tobacco prevention expert Dr. Suzanne Tansky with a shocking testimony before Congress.
In speaking with my patients, they admit they are indeed vaping throughout the night. This is something I've not seen with adolescent cigarette users.
Tansky testifying that a number of teenage patients admit they can't go more than a few hours without vaping. She blames their addiction on high levels of nicotine in vape pens and e-cigarette products.
Our adolescents simply don't have a chance.
This as public health officials report there are nearly 1,300 probable or confirmed injuries related to vaping in 49 states and at least 31 vaping-related deaths in 22 states. Health officials have still not indicated any particular product or device as the source of the health crisis. The family of 18-year-old Daniel Wakefield believes their son was a victim of e-cigarette addiction. His mother, Lisa Marie Vale, filing a lawsuit against Juul after she says her son's death last year was caused by injuries from overusing Juul products. A medical examiner attributed Wakefield's death to natural causes. According to Vale's attorney, Wakefield had asthma but was overall a healthy teen. She says his mother wants Juul to be held accountable, claiming Juul was the only product he used.
Juul has successfully addicted a new generation of people.
Juul has not responded to ABC News' request for comment, but a doctor with the CDC says it's going to be a horrible winter with lung injuries and the flu, so she's urging doctors to be prepared to screen and potentially treat for both. But when you hear that there are people waking up in the middle of the night to vape, lets you know just how bad this is.
Chilling testimony.
Yeah.
Okay, Janae, thanks very much. And in our next hour, we're going to have more on how one doctor is using technology to alert kids to the dangers of vaping. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. We're going to follow a lot of those stories this morning, including former host Megyn Kelly is back on TV and why she's calling for an independent investigation of her former network.
And this heart-stopping rescue that was caught on camera, a state trooper pulling a driver out of his car seconds before it slammed by a train. We're going to hear from the hero this morning, but first let's go back to Ginger.
We are also watching a group of thunderstorms. You know what this means, with a 70% chance of being subtropical or tropical storm as it moves toward the Gulf Coast this weekend. That could mean some heavy rain and some hefty winds, and then up the coast. We will detail all that as it gets closer. Your local weather, though, in 30 seconds, and the Windy Cities, sponsored by CarMax.
If there's going to be a sticker on your car, it has to mean something. That you got into college or crossed the finish line. Eventually.
What?
That you went someplace worth going. Or maybe you have opinions. But if it's on there, it has to mean something. So we make sure this means something. That we've done everything to make your shopping, test driving, and car buying experience the way it should be. CarMax.
Get ready for a wind whip Thursday. Wind advisories up for the northernmost counties of Maryland to include Loudoun, Clark, and Frederick County, with those winds today 35, 45 miles per hour gusting. 60 degrees, that's it for a high temperature this afternoon. So the first real fall chill that we've had to deal with wind. Tomorrow, slightly higher temperature, slightly less wind, 63 the high. And then this weekend, mid-60s with your next chance of rain on Sunday, coming with a few showers late.
Well, we'll be right back.
It's either the assurance of a 165-point certification process, or it isn't. It's either testing an array of advanced safety systems, or it isn't. It's either the